big news drop last Tuesday. I think right after you guys were done recording. Dana White announced the main events of the end of summer heading into fall card for Tom Aspinall versus Ciryl Gane in Abu Dhabi, with the co-main event being Volkov versus Jailton Almeida. And then another big one, the just before that, Alex Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev, the rematch there. And then Corey Sandhagen versus Merab for the bantamweight championship.
And on the same card, Khalil Roundtree versus Yuri Prohaska.
Yuri, yeah.
College graduate, Yuri Prohaska.
That is correct. Those three fights back. Yeah, those 3 fights back to back. That's already a sick fight card. Obviously, with Tom Aspinall and Ciryl Gane, Jailton Almeida and Volkov being the co-main event, if they are just being on the fight card, they're going to be a backup fighter if anything happens to the main event. What's your thoughts on Volkov versus Gane? Sorry, Aspinall versus Gane.
I mean, I think it's the next best thing that we could get right now with John Jones not being able to do it and stepping away. And I think it's going to be interesting to see what Tom's plan is going to be, because I think on the feet, they're pretty evenly matched. I think it could be fun on the feet, but I think there's definitely a huge advantage for Aspinall when it comes to the wrestling and the grappling. And I think he'd be silly to not at least attempt to make it a bit of a grappling match and try to get the ground and pound, take him down. And we'll see. If he can defend takedowns, it could be a lot of fun, but if not, I think Tom can make some quick work, but there's a lot of pressure on Tom, man. We were talking about it on the pre-show this weekend that, you didn't get the Jones fight. You waited all this time, and now you've got to fight somebody else. And it's always tough because you want to win that one to really prove to everybody that, yeah, you are that guy. You are the great. You are the best. You're the reason John didn't want to take this fight, blah, blah, blah. If you go and lose that one, you just...
Yeah. Well, we haven't had guests on for a little bit because I've just been all over the place and very, very busy and all the rest of it. So I'll reach out to Tom and see if we can get him on next week, and we'll start getting some guests on again. Tom isn't the type of guy that talks shit usually, but he did do a video where he was talking a little bit of shit about Ciryl Gane, saying that he wanted to fight Ciryl multiple occasions. He flew out to Paris. Oh, yeah, go on, press play here.
Finally, we're back after over a year hiatus. Me and Ciryl finally signed on the dotted line. This is the 4th time we've been matched up together. He turned down the fight early on before we were both in the rankings. After that, he fought Spivak. I said in a post-fight interview after I beat Tibura,
I'm going to go to Paris. I'm going to be sat front row for Ciryl Gane against Sergey Spivak. I'm going to beat the winner, and then I'm going to beat John Jones.
I went to Paris. Ciryl, unfortunately, turned down the fight on a second occasion. Third occasion, I fought Curtis Blades. The original opponent was Ciryl Gane. Unfortunately, Ciryl Gane was busy that day. Ciryl was filming his Netflix series. Can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure you can check it out now on Netflix. And now we are matched up for the 25th of October, Abu Dhabi. Me and Ciryl. The 4th attempt is here, and this is Cyryl's 3rd title shot. So we are going to try and get rid of Ciryl Gane from the title picture for good.
3 title fights, obviously, and I forgot about that. Fair play to Tom. Ciryl didn't want to fight him, but now he's the champ. He wants to fight him, so you can understand a little bit of shit talk there in Tom's nice, kind of respectful fashion without, lowering himself and losing his temper and just using facts to talk shit realistically. And he was in Paris, by the way, because I met up with him and his dad. But he fought Ngannou for the belt. Then he fought Jones for the belt. And now he's fighting Tom for the belt. He's certainly getting the opportunities.
Yeah, and Tom's right. I mean, if Ciryl goes out there and loses to Tom this time around, it's tough, as we know, to go and get that 4th title shot after something like this when you've dropped them like that. It's definitely a must-win situation if he wants to be the champion. Now, it's not a must-win situation in terms of his career. He's not going anywhere as long as he wants to fight. But if you want to be champ, man, especially with a guy like Tom, where you don't beat him now, there's probably not a good chance that you're going to be getting back to that one anytime soon.
Well, in terms of the matchup, they're both big men, similar sizes. They're both athletic. very athletic. They're fast, the pair of them. They're both very coordinated. I think if I had to give an advantage to Ciryl, it'd be in the, maybe in the movement. Maybe he's a little slicker on the feet, but he's not as powerful as Tom. And Tom's certainly slick as we know. But the wrestling, the grappling side of things, it's not even a conversation. It's not a conversation. So. Tom should be able to take him down if he chooses to. So if Ciryl Gane isn't training in Dagestan for 2-3 months, years, days, weeks,
or
whatever,
Arkansas,
brother.
Yeah, he's just go down there with brass.
Get up there with brass. If he's not just solely working on his grappling, then he's a fool. Yeah. And by the way, Tom's probably got bigger power. Tom might just knock him out on his feet as well. And I'm not saying that Ciryl can't be a force and Ciryl can't compete and Ciryl can't surprise us all, because he can. And Tom knows that. That's why he'll train accordingly. But the grappling is a big question mark.
Big question mark. And I think if we're talking about their styles too, I think the one thing that you can give Ciryl, other than maybe his unorthodox movement, the way he switches stances quite a bit, he kicks more. He uses a bit more tools, whereas Tom can kick. He can do it all, no doubt about it. He can knee and all of that. But I think that primarily the hands are where Tom really showcases himself and shines. Whereas Ciryl, he can be a little tricky with kicks. He uses a lot of front kicks. He uses side kick. He'll attack like that lead knee and things like that. But again, those are also, if you do too much of that, those are opportunities for Aspinall to be able to get a hold of you and get you to the ground too. But I do think Tom's not going to be afraid to mix it up on the feet. I think he'll be smart about how he approaches the wrestling in that. I don't think he'll rush to it in any means. I think he's going to try to use his speed, use that boxing, try to hurt him, see if he can get him out of there with his hands first. And then I think if opportunity presents himself, he'll get a hold of the wrestling and try to go that route.
Well, he wasn't afraid to stand and trade with Sergey Pavlovich, you know what I mean, who was knocking everybody out at the time. So, and by the way, if anyone's going to sit here in the comment section and say, "Hey, but bro, Ciryl Gane won via heel hook," shut up.
Yeah.
Okay, he did, and he can
but he beat what's his name with the heel hook.
Who was it? It was. I'm not taking away from his win.
Can't remember his name.
Off the top of your head, we need to know. I don't know. Did you call that?
He trains at Jackson's.
Was that in like China or somewhere, or Korea?
No.
It was.
Maybe Russia? No,
I'm going to say it was Korea.
I wasn't in Korea.
Ciryl Gane, wiki. Let's have a look. I'll tell you right now who it was. Hold on. The people are sitting on the edge of their seats.
The guy that says, "I'm going to teach him on the best thing."
It was Dontel Mays. It was in Kallang, Singapore.
Singapore. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I would have been there.
I wasn't far off. He tapped out Rafael Pessoa with an arm triangle, and he did that in Montevideo, Uruguay. I called that fight.
He's got submission skills, no doubt, but I just think doing that to Aspinall is a much bigger step up in terms of grappling pedigree.
Yeah, he also famously tried it on Ngannou, and that did not work out for him.
Yeah, because Ngannou's legs are like giant oak trees. Only 2 losses on Ciryl Gane's record, though: John Jones and Francis Ngannou. So
he's no slouch, there's no doubt.
Pretty impressive. All right, today's episode is sponsored by Skims. What are Skims? They are underwear, but not just any underwear. These might be the softest, the most luxurious, and more importantly, the most comfortable underwear that I've ever worn. If you want to travel around feeling like me, if you want a nice pair of underpants that feels great, extremely comfortable, then you got to head over to skims.com or go to the Skims stores. After you place the order, please select podcast in the survey and select our show in the drop-down menu that follows. As I said, Skims is the official underwear partner of the NBA, WNBA, and USA Basketball. Skims.com.